this is what happens. You see the ground relatively quickly. Now, buddy, the AEROFLY brand, definitely the underdog when it comes to flight simulators out there. Yes, you know, the market is very competitive, especially ever since Microsoft stirred the whole pool up with their simulator. And everybody, AEROFLY is known for, you know, delivering quite a complete package, parallel for PC, Mac, and even on the phone. Even only a few months ago, I talked about the new Global that is available now for AEROFLY, where you can fly all around the world and pretty decent quality, and you don't have to spend so much money on add-ons because there are barely any add-ons to buy. You know, delivers quite a happy meal. AEROFLY is especially known for its great performance. It can run on literal trash bins, which is pretty good. Now, they just recently released a new update. We can see it here, everybody. The new 737 MAX 9 has now been released a week ago, pretty much. And that's relatively culturally significant because, I mean, we've never had the 737 MAX 9, or actually any Max for the flight simulator. We only ever had the NG models and the old models. But if you ignore the pretty bad Braddock 737 MAX, which was quite a bit of a shame, this is the first realistic add-on we have. And it is for free if you have already bought the AEROFLY FS4. Take a look at that. Let's go ahead and spawn into that plane. Where should we go? We have global flying available, don't we? Oh, what is that? That looks quite charming. Velina. Random islands here in the Indian Ocean. Not bad at all, this global. Let's spawn in. All right, and so here we are on board the Mac. And, well, let me tell you, this random island of Velina doesn't look too great. Might not be the best representation for AEROFLY. Now, according to the developers, the 737 MAX is quite a sophisticated model, featuring, for example, the MCAS system. Within connection to the livery we have chosen might not be a very tasteful thing here, but everybody, yes, for the first time, we're properly able to simulate 737 MAX. Let's get into the cockpit here, which is, goddamn, I hate the views. There you go. Which is very 737 MAX. We can see the ginormous screens, you know, the kind of bipolar world of the past when you look at the overhead panel, which still looks like a mess compared to an Airbus, meeting up with the future of ginormous screens indeed. Now, yes, overall first look isn't bad. Yeah, we can turn on and off some systems. That's not bad at all. Overall, we can already see the ginormous 737 MAX engines, the new one, which was the reason why the 737 MAX needed MCAS in the first place. Because of these huge engines, the tendency to stall was quite inherent, and so to prevent stalls, the MCAS system was installed indeed, which would use the angle of attack indicators to prevent a stall before even happening. Quite a genius invention that, well, as we know, definitely failed. Now let's go ahead and take off with our brand new 737 MAX. We have our captain here drawn into the cockpit in good old AEROFLY magic. Good, let's take off. Perfect. You can hear V1 call out. Nice, and there we go. We are flying with our 737 MAX. We can put the landing gear up. Perfect. Let me tell you, yes indeed, this seems like really good update. I'm quite a fan, especially connected to the global update. Let me be clear, let me be fair. This looks great and it looks very usable, but obviously it won't be Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'm gonna look at New York City. It also won't really beat X-Plane, especially if we have some scenery installed. Like, you will not have anyone fooled with the simulator, you know, unlike Microsoft. But everything looks great and looks great so far. I guess something we could try as well is the MCAS system. Yes, in order to use that, we have to put the flaps to 0. These are one of the requirements for MCAS to work. Also, autopilot has to be turned off. Let me try and practice a stall and see how the airplane reacts to it. Good. This is our angle of attack meter, and it should have already reacted here. There you go. Yeah, look at that. And now we can see the airplane. There we go. Trimming down the nose of the aircraft, just like in real life, to prevent a stall. There you go. You can see that. This is how the MCAS practically works, and it's quite genius indeed. Now, what is quite interesting is that AEROFLY has modeled the MCAS system how it is today. Yes, obviously before the crashes, the 2 crashes that happened due to the MCAS, they changed it during COVID times to make it more reliable. Yes, to very much simplify what happened on the 2 crashes on the 737 MAX, there was obviously a faulty angle of attack sensor here. So the airplane airplane thought it was in a stall, so it would naturally put the nose down. To prevent that from happening, Boeing started using both AOA sensors instead of just one, as well as restrict the MCAS system on the 737 MAX from being able to continuously put the nose down. So now the troublesome situation of pilots versus airplane wants to push the nose down because it thinks it's in a stall and the airplane crew can't do anything about it, has been fixed. Yes, we won't be seeing any MCAS problems in the future, right? And once again, this modern system that Boeing introduced is simulated here in AEROFLY. But I found quite a hidden feature in the AEROFLY FS4 folder. Here, aircraft 737 MAX, and here the configuration file, where if you type an MCAS here in the aircraft developing thing, you could change the MCAS settings so it's like before. Here, set value to 1 to simulate the old version of MCAS, the crash version of MCAS. Let's put that to 1. Which now means, yes, MCAS can continuously push the nose down and not just once like it is now. Let's also reverse one of the further changes Boeing made. For example, the angle of attack sensor split. So that use both the angle of attack sensor that the airplane has. There you go, pilot and co-pilot. I want to get rid of the co-pilot sensor. Just like that. Now, next to simulating, the old MCAS, let's also simulate the faulty MCAS. Now, we can do that by changing here the values of when the MCAS activates, the threshold. We could, for example, lower the stall angle of attack, so it would kind of almost try to push down the nose, although there isn't any stall situation going on, although the angle of attack is looking okay. And that's exactly what went down in the MCAS crashes, right? So let's go ahead and save this file with this absolutely broken MCAS. All right, here we are at Palma de Mallorca Airport with a 737. Now, Alaska Airlines livery. Luckily enough, there's still a door here. Let's go ahead and get onto the cockpit and fly this absolutely wrecked airplane. Now, let's go ahead and take off. I'm not really saying that this will be any realistic simulation of what went down, but there we go. Let's do this. Get that landing gear down and get those flaps up, which once again puts the MCAS active. All right, you can see that right here. You can see something going on there. Can you see that? Can you see the stab trim being pushed down by quite a lot? Here we go. Oh, it just keeps going, keeps going. You call this a trim rollout, and that can happen even in older airplanes where the trim would be completely broken. Now, what you would do here is place your hand and stop the wheel from spinning. Because now, what I have to do is pull up the yoke all the way so that we don't crash. If I were to let go of the controls, this is what happens. You see the ground relatively quickly. Oh my goodness. And this in the real life airplanes became a big problem because they were running at an insane speed, at an insane amount of power. So it became very hard for the pilot to fight against the airplane, especially with that trim setting itself back to death all the time. So that's a little MCAS story. Might probably be technically very wrong, and please correct me on if I have anything done wrong. No, come on. Now that the 737 MAX has finally been completely fixed and is out of any scandals, we might be able to have some fun time with it. Let's perhaps land it. Since we do not have St. Barth, that won't be added into the simulator. No, it's not. We shall use some generic other runway. Now the flaps are already set. Everything is good to go. Our sensors aren't faulty, which is why the stab trim is totally fine. And we shall try to see if we can stop as quickly as possible. So it's quite a hard landing. Good. We shall use reverse thrust, which happens to stop our airplane relatively fast. I mean, these are large engines, aren't they? I mean, as it turns out, this airplane can stop pretty much anywhere, right? Let's go ahead and land at Courchevel, because why not? Everything good. Now, that's what Courchevel looks like out of the box. Not too bad. Europe isn't really bad at all here in the simulator, although we can agree that the Caribbean just looked like FSX. Yes! This has worked very well, everybody. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, what the hell just happened there? So overall, we can say AEROFLY has definitely come a long way. I guess they're a bit more competitive, though, on mobile. It is pretty hard, after all, to beat X-Plane and Microsoft, but I guess on your mobile device, as the graphics aren't that much worse, and also the realism I don't hate it at all. Really thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow as always. Good night. And a special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Deram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Fanner, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.